Bengals fans are amazing. They're resilient, they're tough, but they're fun. And I'm really excited to hopefully meet a lot more of you.
Isaac has the big game. Then we became a real balanced offense for the playoff run, which I thought was really important.
He put on the greatest route running exhibition I have ever seen in my life.
He was football 24/7, and that was the greatest part of Chad.
At times, the early part, I would tell him when we were throwing deep passes, I said, don't wait too long, because I'm going to get away. If you ain't going to have the arm to get there. So, I want to run to the ball,
Well, Duke, looks like Duke's in the waiting room. I don't want to keep Duke waiting. He gave us a very limited amount of time. I know he's a busy man. Duke, what's going on, big dog? How you doing, buddy?
Jim, how are you, man? Thanks for having me on. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm real busy. I'm sitting on my porch.
Yeah, well, hey. Have a little drink going on there.
Joe Burrow has played in big games his entire life, and I would think he will be a steady hand at the bow of the ship. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if they take him all the way to the Super Bowl. I really wouldn't.
Welcome, everybody, to let's call it the playoff edition of Talking Football with Bengal. Jim and friends, we got a boatload of stuff to get through here tonight. Andrew Whitworth will be on with us at 8:10. So we have him from 8:10 to 8:20. I need everybody to make sure, if you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure to hit subscribe, smash that subscribe button, and subscribe on YouTube and get updates as the show goes on throughout the year. Quick rundown. We're going to talk about our charity update. You're not going to believe the number we're at with the charity, guys. You guys are amazing. Andrew Whitworth at 8:10. We're going to talk about the tailgate. You're not going to want to miss the discussion about the tailgate coming up. We have we're going to get right into the special Freezer Bowl edition discussion here we talked about. And we're going to talk about some of the things that happened at the game this past week, that win over the Raptors. So, guys, let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to take the first part of this show tonight, and we're going to talk about, before Andrew comes on, we're going to talk about on this date in football history, Tom. So very big time. I remember when I was little exactly where I was to talk about what happened on this date in Cincinnati football history, Tom.
The Freezer Bowl, probably the biggest single event and championship won at Riverfront Stadium during its history, and one of the biggest days in history of the NFL. -9 was the air temperature, -59 with the wind chill. Coldest game in NFL history.
Got it. So we're going to play a short video clip, a couple-minute video clip. We're going to come on and talk about that day in Cincinnati football history.
The temperature in greater Cincinnati has dropped to 9 below, with winds out of the northwest gusting at 35 miles per hour. We're talking a wind-chilled 59 degrees below zero. And the Bengals are playing the San Diego Chargers for the AFC Championship today out by the river. And frankly, folks, you got to be crazy, nuts, to be out there today.
On Cincinnati's coldest day ever, the game was a survival test that called for daring and desire. The only thing that warmed the Bengals was the anticipation of victory. Throwing into a wind tunnel, Ken Anderson's passes sailed straight and true. The Chargers' passes simply sailed. And the Bengal defense frustrated San Diego as often as the wind and the chill.
Let's go, Bengal!
M.L. Harris' touchdown followed a Jim Breach field goal. The game wasn't 8 minutes old, and the Bengals had a 10-point lead.
Come on, Jimmy! Back in!
Linebacker Reggie Williams forced the key turnover of the game, and it pointed the way to Pontiac. As the twilight deepened and the cold intensified, Anderson drilled the game-clinching touchdown to Don Bass. The Bengals had faced the elements without blinking. They were the champions of the AFC. The new look and atmosphere of a winner brought a familiar face back into focus, the face of a legend, the founder of the Cincinnati Bengals.
People get disappointed when you don't do well, and you just have to handle it. If you want a real lesson in that, take a look at the big crowd behind me around Kenny Anderson. Talk about a man that handled the things when they were very difficult for him, and I hand it to him. Proud moment.
So, guys, the very first AFC championship game here in Cincinnati. Bengals win it, go on to the Super Bowl. A couple years ago, we had the 2016, the Super Bowl 16 Super Bowl team on the show, and they talked a good 10, 15 minutes about that game time. So give us a couple thoughts on this. Let's start sharing some stories on this, the Freezer Bowl.
First, before you start, Tom, was that you without your shirt on that they showed in the video?
That was not. I was up in the red seats with my dad, with him looking at me every few minutes saying, you know, are you cold? You cold? You cold? So and I lied and would say, no, I'm good. But no,
right.
You know, that like we talked about the temperatures that day. I think the real story and overcoming the elements, a couple little stories that a lot of people don't know. The cables for NBC snapped because of the cold, and they were exposed. And Channel 12, the ABC at the time affiliate, kind of stepped in, and they didn't have to. But if it wasn't for them stepping in, nobody would have gotten to watch that game. The other thing was you might notice the famous pictures of the Bengals linemen walking out with no sleeves, kind of like Jamie. I don't know if Jamie is in honor of that game. No, Jamie is not going short sleeves tonight. But
hey, listen, if we put you full screen, we might come back and Jamie might be sleepless. So
don't count on it.
See what Jamie does.
He's looking to clean it up. But Forrest Gregg told the lineman before the game that he didn't want to give the Chargers. The Chargers were very known as a grabby team, you know, to grab their jerseys. Gary Big Hands Johnson, Louis Kelcher, and Forrest Gregg told his lineman that he was sorry. He knew it stunk, but they needed to look at it as going to the dentist. You know it's going to hurt, but you have to do it. And they did, and played fantastic and pushed the Bengals right into the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's funny, Todd. If you remember some of the stories from our Super Bowl episode we had a few years ago, I love the story that Chris Collinsworth, the night before, sent popsicles to the hotel room of Kellen Winslow. They were teammates, I think, at Florida. So sent some popsicles to him. And then I remember Lapham talking about how they put Vaseline on their arms, right? But it was so cold, the Vaseline wouldn't smooth out. It wouldn't, what do we say? You know, just you couldn't manipulate the Vaseline on the arms. It was so cold. So there was some, you know, the story about Forrest Gregg was great. Chris Collinsworth talking about describing how cold it was. And the funny story about Ken Anderson, when he was sitting on the heat, it was the first time they had heated benches. He put his feet in a heated bench, you know, inside the bench and sitting down with a jacket over him. And he heard a big roar of the crowd. And he went to get up to see what had happened. And his feet were stuck in the bottom of the heated thing, and he fell face first on the turf. And he said, if it was in today's NFL, it would have been video all over. He wouldn't have played because he would have been concussed. They had to do the smelling salt on him to kind of get him back to normal. But so many great stories. The story about I think Eddie Edwards taking a heat hand warmers and putting them on his ears, and it started sticking to his ears and burnt. It smelled like burnt meat. He thought somebody was smelled hot dogs in the stands. So just story after story after story, man. And I know, Tom, you were at that game. I was 10 years old. I remember Mom and Dad wouldn't let me out of the house. I remember looking outside at the snow, and all my friends were outside running around after the Bengals won, but I wasn't allowed outside. So, but I did get to watch the game on TV that day.
You had good parents. Trust me, that was there was quite a very healthy debate at the Justin household that morning. But But yeah, the other interesting story that a lot of people don't in regards to the Chargers that day, and they were miserable. They had a terrible attitude going into the game. They didn't think we should play it, but their bus crashed under Mering Way underneath Riverfront Stadium on the way to the game. And that they had to walk a little bit on into the stadium. And as they're getting off the bus on the radio, the announcer has somebody on from the Humane Society begging everyone to please, if you have a stray animal, you see an animal, you have an animal that's outside, bring it in. It will not survive outside in this. And they're going off to play football. And the last one in regards to the Chargers are when the second half was getting ready to begin, the refs had to go into the locker room and almost with a cattle prod force them out. The Bengals were outside warming up, stretching, getting ready to play, and the Chargers would not leave the locker room.
Crazy.
So, I mean, that episode, if you want to go back and rewatch and listen to Reggie Williams and Dave Lapham and Chris Collinsworth and Ken Anderson and Anthony Munoz and all these guys talk about the crazy things that weekend and that day. It's on our YouTube channel. Feel free to go back and watch. I think I posted that earlier today, man. That was absolutely just a classic episode, one of my favorites at the end of the day. So Whit is signing in right now, so we could. He says he's going to need a couple more minutes. He's texting me right now, so we'll need a couple more minutes to get logged in, so we can hit on a couple more things. James, where do you want to go next for kill a couple minutes before Whit comes on?
Your viral post on Fox News about the banner?
Let's go. Let's do it. So it didn't go locally. It went national, and we were just having some fun down there in Section 158. We had a big banner that James had printed against his advice. We still had it printed, and it was just kind of taking a jab at the commissioner with the coin flip, changing the rules there at the last minute. There's this picture of the banner at the tailgates right there. And then at the game, literally security, we were holding it up most of the first half, and about halftime, security came over. It was like a SWAT team, security everywhere, man. Tony was my bodyguard. He was taking care of me. But security basically was saying, hey, I guess they get directed from the NFL and they get directed from the Bengals. So it was an NFL directive. Security was very nice to us. They weren't being assholes. But security came, hey, we got to, you've got to take that sign down, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, the sign goes or you go. What do you want to do? One of those things. And the on-field security guy looked at me. Said, if you just keep it down, don't put it up anymore. Get it out of the stadium when you leave. They let it go. So I posted something fun on social media thinking it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Sure enough, Channel 19 picked it up locally and Fox News picked it up nationally. So it wasn't the Bengals. It was directive from the NFL about no signs, poking fun at the commissioner, Tom, which is a little ridiculous.
Well, you weren't taking a jab at him. You were honking his nose. The NFL has had a bad couple of weeks at Paycor Stadium. Judgment is not at 100%. Fairness is nowhere to be found. If that's the worst we're going to do to Roger ought to count his blessings. What he tried to do to the Bengals franchise, the fan base, and Hamilton County as a whole, he ought to be embarrassed. And he is, but he got away with it. There wasn't that much media attention. Nobody stuck. The only person that stuck up, Katie Blackburn, was like Davy Crockett at the Alamo. By herself was the rest, 31 jackasses, 32 if you count Roger, in that room pressing a case for us. So thank you to Katie. The fix was in. I think before they even knew the proposal was coming, they knew they were going to get away with it. It's a shame. It's wrong. But the guys won, and now let's beat Baltimore again and really make the point.
So a lot of my sorry, I was going to say a lot of my friends up here, after we won the Baltimore game, you're like, what's the big deal? Like nothing happened. What's the big deal? Why do you care so much about it? And it was like, it's the what if. There was a potential there that we would be the only team in NFL history to win a division and potentially not have a home playoff game. coming down to like how ridiculous would the coin flip would have been? Like, would they've turned this into like a NBA special where LeBron James is figuring out what team he's going to go to? We call it the coin flip special, and it was just ridiculous. And I think Bengals fans had every right to be upset. And on social media, we know is a toxic dumpster fire most of the time anyway. But it's unbelievable to me how many people couldn't understand that you could still care about DeMar and care about what happened to him and his health and everything that's going on with him, and still be pissed off with the decisions that the league made. The people couldn't figure out a way to separate it. If you voiced a concern about, hey, this doesn't seem right, why are they changing their own rules? People come at you going like, you don't care about the player. You don't care about the player. It's like, no, I care about the player, but the league's still doing its business. And when they came back to their business, they completely screwed over the Bengals. So I think everybody had a right to be upset. And thankfully, it didn't come down to a coin toss, and we got our game on Sunday.
I think we all gained a lot of respect for how Zach Taylor handled things, how the captains of both teams handled things. We touched on this at the tailgate on Sunday, and just how well the stadium handled things, the city of Cincinnati. I mean, first class all the way. But then you read that ESPN article today, and it sounds like basically Zach and Coach McDermott took it out of the NFL's hands and said, this is what we're going to do. You know, there was a lot of the rumors out there of who called the 5-minute warning or warm up to go back out. Troy Vincent vehemently denied that, but somebody.
Joe Buck standing his ground.
Yeah. So that article's pretty interesting, but kudos to what Zach Taylor did, the captains and both organizations. And, you know, at the end of the day, 30,000 foot view, it's not what we wanted to happen. Again, we got the short end of the stick, but I think we all gained a lot more respect for Coach Taylor and how he handled what was a tough situation.
100%.
Yeah, and James, talk a little bit about, you know, what we did at the tailgates. And, you know, I think a lot of different folks were doing different things to kind of remember, you know, what had happened to DeMar here. So we did a special little ceremony for him at the tailgate. If you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we did. And while you got that popped up, thank you to our buddy Dalton for allowing us to print that image. Tag Sandwich did all those signs last minute. They also donated the decals that are in my hand that we handed out Sunday for donations. So what we did was just a quick little ceremony that, you know, obviously, as Jamie, you said, you know, DeMar was in our hearts and prayers, but really taking it to the next level, because by Sunday, you know, his health had progressed and was kind of out of the woods, if you want to use that word. So through Tony's hard work and finding a charity, the first responders, we took that Sunday to the next level and said, hey, you know, thank you to the men and women on the lines that, first of all, saved DeMar's life on the field, but everybody at UC Medical, everybody that does that on a daily basis, that, you know, personally, I think I said it Sunday, there's no way I could, you know, do that. These men and women see kids, adults, middle-aged teenagers, you know, die or almost die on a daily basis. The trauma that they go through is part of their lives. So timing was perfect. Again, thanks to Tony last week and then this week for the playoff game. I don't want to steal Tony's thunder, but we honored those. We had the representative from the charity present. You can see Elizabeth and Caroline with those decals there that we handed out. And we just took the next progression and said, hey, there's a lot of men and women in our community and across the globe that do this on a daily basis. And we just wanted to say thank you to them for what they do. I'm talking to our buddy Mon. I don't know if he's watching tonight, but Mon's a first responder down in Florida and talks about the suicide rate amongst that demographic, just because the wear and tear is so much on them, that the stuff they see on a daily basis is just a lot of stuff that we can't even fathom. So he was somebody that was thankful for what we were doing, thankful for helping out these first responders. And again, we'll look forward to doing that this weekend, and Tony will talk about that a little bit further. So thank you, everybody that donated. Great charity. And again, Tony will talk about all that a little bit.
Jimmy, while we're waiting for Whit to come on, can you go back to that photo of James at the bus for a second? I just noticed something really quickly.
Sure.
Can you talk about those gloves?
Yeah.
Those gloves are style. Is that like extra pockets? How's that? Is that what is
no,
that?
It's like
is that so you can text? Is that like a teenager gloves they wear so you can text and do TikTok videos in the winter?
You flip the mitten over, then you got full coverage. But if you need to smoke your cigar or drink your beer, you got a better grip.
That's cool,
now,
man. I want one of
James,
those.
in fairness, we went over this Sunday at the tailgate that it was spreading on social media, your gloves, like wildfire. It is a fashion phenomenon.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, did we need gloves Sunday at all at the tailgate and in this game?
Us real men didn't wear any gloves.
Need gloves.
I was kind of like Michael Jackson. I only had one on. That counts, right? I had the other one open. I think it sat on the donation table all afternoon. Got beer and stuff spilled on it. But anyway,
Tom showed up at the tailgate with mittens, a little hat with a little ball on top, earmuffs, and a scarf, walking around. But he was cold. Boy, look.
Was that me?
No, I was just playing. No.
Looked like
with
Ralphie's
a brown bag
brother.
lunch.
Ralphie's little brother from a Christmas. Actually, no. James took care of me with about 50,000 chicken wings.
Yeah.
While I was there.
Yeah.
Can I talk? Okay, this I was so heartbroken to miss this game because, as you guys know, when I go to Cincinnati, Knockback Nats is the first place I drive 8 hours. I don't even check into the hotel. I go right to Knockbacks, get my wings, and then it's back to the hotel. They were there, right, at the tailgate?
That was the game before.
That was the game before?
Yeah.
I'm a week behind. Oh, that was the Buffalo game.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And those chicken wings, I think, lasted 2.5 minutes.
Oh, no doubt.
They were gone.
1,500 wings gone.
Oh yeah.
Hey, so let's as we wait for Whit, I'm waiting for him to respond to me right now. As we continue to wait for Whit to come on, let's talk a little bit about what's going on food-wise at the tailgate this week. We got to talk about this. Is crazy, man. We just let you know, Buffalo Wild Wings location out of Norwood, the Norwood location specifically, is bringing down 3,000 wings. Cannon, you're going to be down there eat some wings? Come on, buddy. But BW3s is bringing out 3,000 wings. It's the Norwood location. Unbelievable. And as always, we got Camp Washington bringing about 300 conies down. And our close friends at Gold Star bringing 500 down. And I got to talk about somebody new this week. We have a new food sponsor this week, Sweets and Meats Barbecue. They're bringing a boatload of food down for you guys. On top of the 800-plus conies, on top of the 3,000 wings, we're going to have a ton of pulled pork. Here's the menu they made for us. They're going to have macaroni and cheese, their vinegar-based coleslaw, vegetarian baked beans, pulled pork sandwiches, and pulled chicken sandwiches. So we're very excited to have Sweet Meats bring a boatload of food down for everybody. So if the focus always is locally owned, or even if it's a franchise, a local franchise owner here in the Cincinnati tri-state area, Northern Kentucky tri-state area, kind of featuring them and helping them out as much as we can. So anybody you see that's been a food sponsor at the tailgate this year, if you were able to stop by and grab a drink or something to eat at any of these places, they greatly appreciate it. These are family-run businesses that look for your support, man. I love it.
Now I don't want to jump the gun, but Jimmy, I don't know if you remember us talking about this or not when I was down last, but the plan for next year for the home opener is for my gourmet poutine and mac and cheese to come down and feed the tailgate.
Oh boy!
So I've already told my kids that work for me that we're going to Cincinnati, so they're super pumped. So not local, but I want to bring it on the road.
Tom, does he know all these people are staying at your house? Did you inform the wife of that yet?
Yeah,
I haven't mentioned anything to the wife. What's got me more concerned is the poutine. How's he going to get that through customs? That's a lot of poutine.
We'll bring all the ingredients down. It's all good.
All
right. Still waiting on Whit. He's responding to me. Looks like he's still coming in, but we got a boatload of other stuff to talk about. Tony, you want to go ahead? Let's go ahead and hit on the charity update. Kind of let's give everybody, filling everybody what's going on. Because this has just been a record-breaking year for us.
Huge.
Yeah, it's been a great year. New Day Nation, which is the most giving fan base that I've ever seen. here in Cincinnati. So we are sitting right now at $113,000 for this year, which is well beyond our goal of $75,000 that we set earlier. So it's all to you guys. Thanks to our corporate sponsors, our fans, and everybody who's made that possible for us. With that money, we have served 24 different charities as well, so both locally and nationally. So it's something to be proud of. So I'm blessed to be a part of this group and be a part of this fan base that's been able to do that. So it's awesome.
Am I reading that right? 113,000?
Yep.
Yeah, that's like
$13,000. So
that's like $250,000 in Canadian, Jamie.
That's
$250,000
man. That's
Canadian.
crazy.
By the way,
good job,
Jamie.
guys.
Hold
Good job.
on, Tony. Jamie so rudely interrupted you by pouring. What are you drinking, Jamie? You didn't share.
Oh, sorry. This is a bottle of J-Lore, Cab Sauv from I think California.
It's not as good as Bold Stripes, but sorry,
Probably
Tony,
not.
I just was worried about what he was drinking. Continue on.
I just want. Can you hold that bottle up again?
Sure.
You cracked that bottle open at the beginning of the show, and it.
I did, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Well, hold on. In all fairness, I got some in the glass still.
Stressful day for Jamie up in there, Canada, I guess.
Every Tuesday, brother. Every Tuesday.
I think the Bengals made an announcement today that TJ Hushmanzada is going to be the rule of the jungle. And Bootsy Collins is performing at halftime with the Ohio players. If you're too young, you don't know who Bootsy is, you don't know who the Ohio player is, Google it, look them up. Absolutely legends, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're going to be classic. And I'm going to tell you, it's probably a very good idea for everybody to be at the tailgate this week. There's so much stuff going on. Who knows who's going to show up this week? Because every week we have this 30th anniversary for the tailgate has been epic every single
do we have an announcement yet from the Bengals if there's going to be a light and fireworks show before the game?
Fireworks show?
Well, the fireworks and the light show, like we did a couple weeks ago against Buffalo.
I think they tweeted a tease about that. Obviously, they did something before the Monday night game, and I wouldn't be surprised, Tom. By the way, Tom,
they got the guy from Stranger Things doing the national anthem, man. What more do you want them to do?
Tom, is it true you used to listen to Bootsy
Jack
Collins
Lambert singing the national anthem?
EA Sports, Tom. EA Sports.
Tony, help me. Okay. All right. Go ahead, guys.
No, what I was saying is it true that you used to listen to Bootsy Collins on 8-track tapes?
8-track tapes would have been before me. That would have been with my dad. My dad did have an 8-track back in the 70s. I don't recall Bootsy ever being on his radio.
Okay.
But
okay. A listener wanted to know.
I believe Bootsy came to fame as one of the lead guitarists for James Brown's band. So I guess technically I've probably heard Bootsy back in the day.
If you know the P-Funk in Parliament, love it all. Let's talk about uniform combination this week, guys. The Bengals made that announcement today. Looks like they're going black jersey, white pants. So I'm good with that combo, man. I like it.
I think there was a lot of talk. A lot of people wanted to see those alternate jerseys. I don't know. You hear different things. Maybe they've maxed out on that, but there, black and white. That's what we're going to be wearing on.
Yeah, the
Sunday
official
night.
explanation there is you can use alternate jerseys 3 times a year. They use their white ones twice, the orange one once, and heck, this is the NFL. Those are the stated rules. No way you're going to get that changed. So yeah, we have to go with our traditional black jerseys. They do not stray from the rules. In the NFL.
I do have it from an inside source, not within the organization. His name is Loco Luke. There is going to be a light show done again this week. So just stay tuned for more information online about that. Let me hit one more thing, guys. And again,
Is that Chef Luke you're referring to?
It is Chef Luke. Yep. Years of culinary school is really paid off for him down at the tailgate now as he cooks heats up the chili and the hot dogs. He's killing it. Him and Jungle Joe are killing it. So real quick, posted this probably an hour or two before the episode started tonight. If you go to any of our social media platforms, the tailgate platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Gold Star is giving away two tickets to the playoff game here Sunday night, and we will announce a winner of those 2 tickets at 6:00 Friday evening. So stay tuned. You got to get on there. Make sure you're following Gold Star and us, and make sure you retweet or share what your favorite menu item is at Gold Star, and that automatically enters you for 2 tickets to this playoff game. And if you saw the ticket prices this week, it's the most expensive ticket in the NFL for the playoffs this weekend. Just like it was last year. Every Bengals game was the most expensive ticket in the NFL playoffs last year. It's happening again. So where did James go? Did he disappear?
I have no idea. I just looked up and saw that he wasn't here.
I think he put Cannon to bed. He'll be right back.
So what's going back to the jersey combination for a second? When did they make the call that you couldn't do the color rush in the playoffs? Was that when they first announced the color rush?
No, that was what that was. There is a rule in all seriousness in the NFL. You get 3 alternate jersey games a year. We've used 2 of our white ones, and we used an orange one. So we used them all up. And like we found out with the NFL, the rules are the rules.
Yeah. Yes. No.
You can't alter. You can't defer. You can't change. You can't take the exit. You got to stay on the straight and narrow.
Especially right before the playoffs. You never change the rules for the playoffs.
It's either that or you got to honk Rodgers' nose. So, and then Jimmy gets in trouble. So,
Jamie,
that's
Jamie,
how
do me
it
a
is.
favor. Can you put me in the waiting room real quick? I'm gonna talk to Andrew.
Yes. Okay. I almost put him back in. We almost double clicked.
He's gone.
Hey,
He's gone.
do a coin toss to see if we are allowed to have an alternate.
Yeah, actually, I can do that right now. Does the Canadian quarter count?
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Tails.
Okay.
Tails.
Tails?
Tails. What's tails on a Canadian quarter?
It's a moose. Tails.
See?
Well, you laughing at my international symbol of patriotism?
When we logged in, I never thought a moose.
Have you ever
night.
seen a moose in person?
I've never seen a moose's ass either.
A moose?
We don't even have moose at the Cincinnati Zoo, and it's the best zoo on the planet.
Do you know why there's no moose there? Because they're vicious, man. They can't even get them in the cages. Like a Canadian
Good thing
moose.
Jimmy's not here. Jimmy would not like us talking about a moose's ass.
Oh,
the good thing he's gone.
You're laughing at the moose.
God.
You want to laugh at what's on the heads too?
What's on the heads?
It's the queen.
All right. Well, God rest her soul.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
While Jimmy's gone, James, quickly, the game last week. A lot of different perspectives, certainly a lot of curveballs with the rules and the non-rules and everything else. The Ravens elected to sit everybody, rest everybody, give guys that were slightly dinged up, that were maybe 80%, get them 100% for this week. We lost Alex Kappa. I think Zach made the right decision. That was a game we had to be certain we were going to win. But do you see us at a little bit of a disadvantage, even though we're at home this weekend?
Well, I think it goes back to our love for Roger Goodell and the situation that he put us in. You know, we were forced to play our starters. First off, the edginess / chippiness that the Ravens used, I think might come back to bite them this week. Obviously, our players were pretty fired up after the game, and I don't want to say the Ravens didn't play their starters, because I think their defensive side of the ball was, with the exception of maybe one guy, was pretty much full tilt, Marlon Humphrey. So if you look at it, obviously we didn't throw our bag of tricks at him. I think we ran a pretty vanilla offense. Our defense did what it did all year. And let's be honest, how often have the Ravens scored more than 16 points all year? You could probably count on 2 fingers or 3 fingers. So I think what we saw, regardless who's at quarterback, regardless of who's playing or not, that's their offense. So we heard a lot of talk the last couple of days. The Bengals get to 20 plus points, it's over. Dobbins didn't play Saturday or Sunday. Lamar, if you want to talk about Lamar right now, I think he's all but checked out, waiting on a big contract. I don't expect to see him on Sunday. I'm not sure what Tyler Huntley's status is. We did what we needed to do. Obviously, losing Kappa hurt. Some other guys took some pretty big hits. Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins took some big hits. Glad they're okay. And the right side of the line is going to look a little different here as we enter the playoffs, but confident, we're going to be okay. I think we have the firepower to put up, 20, 30 points easily. Let's be honest, Joe Burrow had an off day, and we still did what we did thanks to our defense. I mean, our defense had a huge day, and I think we'll be fine.
Jamie, with no Alex Kappa and no Lyle Collins, are you worried about the right side of our line?
No, man. You know what? I think Zach's got this team buying in, and it's the next man up mentality. And look, I mean, we were all very worried about the line going into the Super Bowl last year. We're worried about the line going into the playoffs last year. We made it to the Super Bowl. So even with those two guys out, the line's still heavily improved. And like I said, I think Zach's got these guys buying in the next man up. That's been the mentality. And I think I'm not worried about it. The way Joe's playing too, I'm not worried about it. Let's see him scrambling. He's scrambling like Michael Vick in his prime back there on Sunday. And then going back to what James was talking about, I think one of the best comments I think I read on social media was, the scheme that we saw the Bengals roll out on Sunday was high school. They weren't showing the Ravens anything. Everyone knew we were going to be playing each other next week. So I'm not worried. Joe, a couple passes he normally would have made, but I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know for sure. I know you're saying that Lamar is not playing. Do I think there's a chance he does? Who knows? We're going to find out here next day or two if he is for sure.
I'm shocked.
Tony, Tony and I, we sit next to each other at the game, man. I'll tell you, man, it was our defense played lights out. They really did play well. Joe didn't play great. Tony, your thoughts, man? I know we talked about a lot during the game Sunday.
All I like to say is Trey. Oh my gosh, he had beast mode. He was only in for like 18 or 19 plays, and for what he did out there was amazing. So I agree with James and Jamie. I think the team just kind of laid back. They knew they had to win. They did just enough to do that, and they're getting ready for this weekend. And I think we'll see a different team.
I think the only thing that backfired on that plan on Sunday was it would have been nice to not have the starters out there in the second half of the game. But there was as much as the defense did play well, there was a bunch of third down, third and longs that we just didn't get the stop on. And the Bengals, they played this kind of vanilla scheme, but at the same time, we know it's on the line. If we lose that game, we're flipping a coin. So I didn't like seeing everybody out there, and then you see an injury happen, which you don't want to see the starters in that game. But at the same time, there was a lot in the line. As much as we're doing well in the coin tosses this season, I just didn't want to put the stakes on a coin toss. So
and we see the comments in the chat there. People are saying, "Hey, Lamar's going to play. Lamar's knees swollen." Well, let's be honest. If Lamar does play, he's had 6 weeks off. How much rust is he going to have? We saw the rust that we had earlier in the year when Joe didn't play a lot in the preseason because of the appendectomy. It's also on there. Lamar's a running quarterback with a bad knee that takes away a big chunk of his game. So it'll be interesting to see. I think, John Harbaugh's frustrated with the whole situation with Lamar. Lamar's not happy because of the contract. John's not happy with what's happening with Lamar. So, I think they're in a little bit of funk over there in Baltimore as well.
Can I say something? Like, if you're Lamar, and we've seen this, that he cares about his contract, he cares about the money, which a lot of these guys do. It's a business. What incentive does he have to play? I mean, if he comes out and loses and gets killed, it's not going to be good for his negotiations. He comes out and gets injured, that's definitely not going to be good for his negotiations. I don't know. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I just don't think he's playing this game. I honestly think, and again, I don't follow the Ravens. I see a bunch of toxic stuff on Twitter, but I think we've seen the last game he plays as a Raven. I just don't think he's playing. I honestly don't think he's going to play this game.
I agree with you because the announcement of the linebacker getting $100K or $100 million.
I mean, that's just turns the knife even more, man. If you're Lamar right now watching this guy bag $100 million contract, and you're going like, where's my money? I honestly think it's the last. And there's a lot of I don't know if you guys watch NFL Network stuff. There's a lot of crazy. There's talk about the Bears going with another quarterback and maybe trading Justin Fields to Baltimore because Baltimore's built this like running quarterback offense around Lamar Jackson. I don't know if it's going to be that crazy, but I really honestly feel like we're not seeing him again. And who cares?
Guys,
It doesn't matter who.
I'm going to tell you right now, their offense does not scare me at all. And to be honest, I hope Lamar Jackson does play. He's been played in 5 or 6 weeks. I'm okay with whoever's quarterback for the Ravens this week. Their defense is damn good, guys. Their linebackers are some of the best linebackers in the NFL. They get pressure on the quarterback. They're damn good, guys. That defense is what scares me the most.
No, their front six is outstanding, and we couldn't run the ball last week against them, and that was with Alex Kappa. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a tight game, again, but it's going to be the same formula: protect Joe Burrow, let him do his thing, and play hard on defense. Don't turn the ball over. But and maybe even a bigger story, Jimmy. While you were gone, I know how particular you are about the show. We got about a 2 or 3 minute documentary on Canadian quarters and a moose's ass. That's on the.
Yeah, you'll have to watch the replay on that one, Jimmy. The other thing. The other thing I was going to say, and this goes back to what Jimmy was saying, who cares who plays? I mean, did you see the second half of our season, the schedule? Everyone said Bengals have to run the gauntlet. You compare the schedule we had with anyone else in the league and the way that we balled out to get here. And people are saying, "Oh, I hope we don't face the Chargers." The Chargers, like I don't care who we play. This is the same team that's beat Patrick Mahomes 3 times. We're going to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you right now. You can play the replay of this. I don't know what episode we're on. We're going to the Super Bowl, and this is the year that we win it. I'm telling you right now. I feel it, and I don't care who we play.
You sound like
does that mean that's not. Does that mean going to come down to trade?
So I've already told you this. I've already got my tickets for the Buffalo game because I have friends who got season tickets for Buffalo. So when we play Buffalo, if they win, we play them in the AFC Championships. I'm at that game, and I am not missing the Super Bowl this year. I am going to Arizona, 100%.
Hey, I just got a text message real quick. Matter of fact, we're going to give Whit a little bit longer. He's trying to sign on. He's having some issues right now. So, but I got a text from a buddy of mine. He says, "Hey, it looks like James and Jamie's in the bathroom. Are you guys in the restroom?" I got 2 text messages saying, "Where in the hell are you 2 at? Are you in the restroom right now on the toilet?"
No.
On the show?
I'm actually in Cannon's room. Now, Jamie's not in a suit. What? Jamie's been accused of being in the bathroom?
I'm in a homeless shelter, a soup kitchen, which, by the way, just to let you know, the person who said I look like I'm in a soup kitchen, that was at my actual business, my wedding venue. Thank you very much. No, I'm in my home office.
To be honest, Jamie that's a half truth. Jamie is in an airplane bathroom. If you look close enough.
Yes, we're about to fly over Baltimore. I have to go flush.
So let's go through this, guys, and hope Whit can get on here in a second. He's been at least communication with me on this stuff. I think Dalton was asking. Let's go through this playoff scenario here, guys. Let's make our picks. Let's start at the. We'll do the Bengals, Baltimore last. Let's go Jacksonville, Los Angeles Chargers, guys. So Jacksonville.
No explanation. Kudos to Doug Peterson. I think he should be in contention for Coach of the Year. What he's done after the mess that former Ohio State coach left him in is brilliant. We know Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, so his coaching credentials are there. But I think this one, I think Jacksonville's. Trevor Lawrence is still young. I'll take Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence in that in that game. Tony, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Sunshine. I think he showed that he's able to play, and I'm thinking Jacksonville may pull that one out.
So you call him Sunshine. I was thinking Joe Dirt. Tom?
Everybody's talking a lot about the Chargers offense. What I think is the strength of their team when they are playing well is their defense. I think Jacksonville has come light years. Doug Peterson is the NFL Coach of the Year. But, even the Chargers didn't play well last week, even with Mike Williams probably out. I think they eke one out in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So what do we say here? Tony's a Jacksonville. I'm a Charger. Jamie's a Charger, and 3-1.
No,
Your
I'm
vote doesn't.
Jacksonville. I'm Jacksonville.
You're Jackson. Okay, Jimmy, you're the tiebreaker. Who are you taking?
All the way.
I'm all about the upset here, guys. All about the upset, and I can't stand the Chargers. I'm going Jacksonville. No explanation other than somehow they gotta figure out a way to get that dub. But I would love to see Jacksonville.
Wouldn't Chargers be the upset? They're the 5th seed technically.
Record-wise,
I know.
Record-wise, Chargers are a better team.
Who does?
Okay, listen, you guys.
Favorite?
You guys might think I'm crazy, but if in the AFC, the team I'm most afraid of is Jacksonville. If I'm afraid of any team in that list, it's Jacksonville.
You're crazy.
Sneaky team, man. Sneaky team, and they played us good last season too. I was at that game. That was a tough fought game. That's Lawrence versus Burrow right there. That's
Jamie. I love you. Lay off the wine.
All right, James, where are we going next? Miami Buffalo.
Let's go Miami Buffalo, and I'm going to preface this by, man, we've seen Tua take some hits this year. There's talk of him coming back for his safety. I can't even believe the NFL is even considering it. We saw what happened earlier in the year. We saw what happened week 3 against us, and then there was another one later. Hopefully he rests. Hopefully there's going to be a Miami miracle this weekend, but I think there's too much firepower in Buffalo. Also, we heard today Mozart, or most, however you want to say it, their running back that came over from San Francisco, broken thumb. He'll probably play, but he had a big game against the Bills last day. I'm taking Buffalo in that one. Tony?
Yeah, I'm going to be rooting for Miami, but be realistic. I think Buffalo is going to get this one. I'd love for Miami to pull up the upset, and we get to see that game again here at home. But being in Buffalo and with the question marks with all the quarterback issues, I think Buffalo's got this one.
Tom?
I think the Bills win big.
Jamie?
Same as Tony. I'm praying for a Miami miracle. I want the path of least resistance to the Super Bowl. And I think Miami provides that, but I think Buffalo's going to smoke them. It's just not even going to be close. You got a team that's playing for a guy that almost died. I mean, those guys are coming out swinging. The first play of the game was a kickoff return touchdown against the Patriots. They scored two in that game. It's not going to be close. And going back to what you said about Tua. When I said Lamar's never playing for the Ravens again, Tua should be playing ever again in the NFL, in my personal opinion. The guy should take whatever guarantee money he's got and get out. I'm legit worried for that guy. Absolutely worried for that guy.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm rooting for the Dolphins, man, but I don't see it happen. For selfish reasons. I don't want to go to Buffalo next week in the cold. That's just the worst city in the world to be in, next to Cleveland. At this time of year especially. So go Dolphins, but I don't see it happening there at the end of the day, James.
All righty. Let's talk about our game. Obviously, we know Kansas City's on the bye, whatever ring around the posy they did in Vegas on Saturday. We won't even get into that discussion. Let's talk about a score for Sunday night, Jamie. We'll let you kick it off.
Well, first I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win the game. And this might be a really unpopular opinion. It might get kicked off the show. I'm just kidding. Bengals. You thought I was going to go Ravens there for a second. No, it's Bengals. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I think we're going to win by 2 scores. And I think I made the prediction again in the Buffalo game, which unfortunately finished, that we were going to pick off Josh Allen twice. I'm seeing 2 defensive turnovers for the Bengals in this game. So 2 scores, 2 turnovers.
Hand the mic to the guy below you, Jamie.
That's okay. There you go.
There you go. Perfect.
It's weird. I'm reaching down.
A little bit what Jamie said, and it's the key to all of our wins. First is to protect Joe Burrow. Second is to play solid defense and win the turnover battle and win it decisively. And I would look for the magician this year for that has been Von Bell, who's really set the tone. Other than DJ Reader may not be a more important player on our defense. Those guys, what a tremendous unit. But I think it's going to be a grinded out game. But it's definitely going to be one score. I think it's going to be very tough and very close. But I think the Bengals win.
Tony?
Yeah, I think we're going to see some real good football play. I also think we're going to see some dirty football too. Baltimore, I think, is one of those teams that we could put them right there with the city by West Virginia, how they play us. But I do believe the Bengals are going to pull it out. I'm going to go with 34-17 for the final.
Wow.
I'm going to talk about the crowd we saw, Monday night before tragedy struck, but it was electric. We saw that it started at the tailgate in Lottie and just carried into Paycor Stadium from the light show to the player introductions. The place was on fire. You could feel the energy in the stadium. I expect that and more on Sunday night. I think, what I alluded to earlier, the Ravens maybe get 14, Justin Tucker, if they're close, he's going to hit it. The question is, will they be able to get in the end zone? I think we hold them, 14, 15 points, and we put up 27. So 27-15 Bengals. Jimmy?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I just look, man. I'm scared to death, man. I'm scared every game. I'm like this, but their defense is legit. One of the best defenses in the NFL with a new right guard and obviously a right tackle that hasn't played most of the year. I still think they figure this damn thing out and they get this game won. But I'm telling you, this is going to be an AFC North slobber knocker at the end of the day, man. It's going to be tough, a tough, grinded out victory, man. We get it somehow, some way. We figured out. We always do. But this is going to be tough. This is going to be a tough one.
Jamie, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to just touch on what you talked about the Buffalo game. Man, watching that game, it really felt like that was going to be a game where each team scored on every drive, on every possession, like whether it was a touchdown or a field goal. It looked like it's just going to be shaping up to be a shootout the whole way. It would have been nice to see the end of that game, but obviously it did the right thing. But that would have been a crazy game.
We talked about Go ahead, Jamie.
I just one real quick thing. I mean, I think Augie makes a good point here. Look, I've been to 29 of the 32 NFL cities, and I've been in some loud stadiums. Seattle was loud. The old Ram Stadium was loud. I'll tell you, it was the loudest stadium I have ever been in at the beginning of that game. It was charged. The city was going crazy. And then whatever it was, 15 minutes later, when that ambulance came on the field, you could hear a pin drop in that stadium. It was the most bizarre, surreal situation I've ever been involved with. And it was unreal.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing. Sorry, go ahead, Jimmy. I know we got to talk about. I think we're going to have to probably reschedule. At this point,
he's
having
just having
problems
a hell of
connecting.
Time. I know that in Los Angeles they're having all kinds of issues with rain and flooding and all kinds of things. I think there might be some issues there, but I literally have been on and off the phone with him pretty much all week, even up until the end of last week. So, I apologize, everybody, but Whit will be back here. We'll have to figure out how to when he getting back on. That works, man. So, apologize, everybody. I know I was pretty excited. Everybody was pretty excited about this episode, but we'll get him back on here for sure.
Well, and then we rightfully rescheduled him to this week. Bringing him on after what happened on the Monday night game was just there's no point even doing a show at that point and bringing him on. The narrative would be, not what we want to talk to him about, basically. I know we have a lot of questions we want to ask him, and I know you guys watching have a lot of questions as well. So we will get him back on eventually, and looking forward to doing that. going back to again, and not to harp on the league, we've all said our piece on the show already. What we feel about the Bengals changing the rules, but one of the things that we were talking about, a couple friends of mine and I the other day, was a lot of these what if scenarios, and it still sits with me. I'm wondering how we would handle this, and when the league makes these decisions the way they make them. So let's just say, for example, that Tyler Boyd touchdown at the first drive of the game. What if there was a bonus structure in his contract that stated if he caught X amount of touchdowns, he got $1 million bonus? But then they say the stats for that game don't count. What would happen in that situation? These are the things that you think about. Like, people don't think about the repercussions of these decisions and how they're made.
You know,
go ahead, James.
No, the one thing I've been saying all week is, you know, Roger Goodell was eerily quiet the first part of the week, but you know, we talk about this all the time. The Bengals aren't part of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. This is the Browns' family business. This is their livelihood. This is what they do. If you say what an average ticket price of $100-some bucks to get into, it's a Paycor Stadium, $7 million revenue off a home game before they sell their first hot dog, before they sell anything. We all know we're getting refunds from that game on Monday night. Again, take the DeMar situation. Glad he's doing okay. Does the NFL reimburse the Bengals $7 million plus from the ticket sales that they lost? Again, $7 million to the bottom line is a lot to a lot of businesses and companies. Going to what you said, Jamie, you know, some organizations, and I don't know if the precedent's been set in football or even if it's allowed per the Players Association and their contracts. I think some businesses would try.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Witt said, "Hey man, if you guys are good, I'm good to go." So if everybody's out there and want to stay on, Witt's still. He literally, he's coming on. He's coming on now.
Okay. All right. So to answer your question, Jamie, there's a lot of those. Tom, you were gonna say something. Maybe you pipe in on it.
Well, one thing about the bonus is a lot, and Jamie makes a good point, but the Bengals have had that a couple times where something odd has come up. You know, I know 1 year John Kitna had something in his contract for a certain number of yards, and he was incredibly close. In the last game of the season, they decided not necessarily to bench him, but they were going to play somebody else at quarterback just to give somebody else some exposure at quarterback. Mike Brown called him in and said, "Listen, we're going to honor that, you know, given the circumstance." So the Bengals are a team, you know, despite their reputation and the clowns, many of the clowns on national TV, they look to honor such things. Historically, there have been some owners that have not. Mike Brown always has. But Jamie brings up a good point. Probably legally, they would not have been. I think the stats in that game up to that point should have counted. Joe Burrow should have another touchdown pass. Tyler Boyd should have a touchdown pass. The tackles, you know, what hit the sack. But
you know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the guys that bought tickets off the secondary market, like bought from somebody, because the email the Bengals sent out was Ticketmaster to refund, and then it's up to the person who resold their tickets to give the money back to the people that bought them. I don't know many people who resold their tickets, sold it for face value for that game, the hottest ticket in town, I'm sure, that day. A lot of upset people, a lot of really upset people, I would think.
A lot of questions asked.
Witt's signing in right now. He's just, dude, I'm so sorry, guys. Is it still good to come on? I said, absolutely. Told him we have millions of people watching right now waiting for him to come on.
There you go. Going back to your question, Jamie, I think some sports books, and we know obviously our friends at Betfred, I'll pop their logo up, we just refunded everybody as the game didn't happen. Some paid out, you know, all sorts of prizes. I don't think there was a right or wrong answer on what was happening, but you just try to make the best out of what you can. You know, who knows? Maybe they flipped the coin on what to do.
I have a buddy of mine who was in his fantasy championships, and he had Allen and his opponent had Burrow. So it's just like, it just came down to, you know, whoever else was playing that week, and that's how it was decided. So I heard a lot of people in fantasy, they split the money between the two people that were in the championships. Like, It just, again, look, take DeMar out of the situation. No one's saying anything about negative about DeMar. We can care about that and still question like what the hell the NFL was thinking with this decision. Like it just they literally changed their own rules. They changed their own rules that they have in a rule book. And I love that this team came out. I love that Zach Taylor came out and said, we just want to be black and white. Player does something wrong, they get fined, the team goes, hey, come on, don't fine them. And they go, section 2.4972 on page 17, right there, pay the fine. But when it comes to this, they changed the rules. And that,
speaking, go ahead, continue.
No, I'm just saying, I'm so happy it didn't come down to a coin flip.
Speaking of fines and coin flips, our boy Joe Mixon, after that first touchdown, was carrying I don't think it was a Canadian quarter with a moose on it. Do you think it was, Tom?
I didn't
No, I don't
zoom
think it was
in
a
enough.
moose's ass for the tails now.
Okay. So how about him? And Chad talked about it before. Hey, I'll pay a fine if somebody does the coin flip. And what happens, Tony? Joe scores in that north end zone, pulls out a coin.
But no fine. No fine.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. I think, honestly, the league just wants to move on. They're not going to fine him because finding him brings it back to the national conversation. And they just want to move on from this.
Yep.
So, but what a great celebration by Joe Mixon. That was awesome. And it's funny, they were playing coin in the locker room after and saying, no, it was just him. But I think every one of those guys had a quarter stuck in their had a quarter stuck in their glove. All right, Jimmy, you're back on. You're on, Jimmy.
All right, guys. Hey, everybody, thanks for hanging around. Big Whit's in the waiting room right now, and I know everybody in Cincinnati, every Bengals fan across the country and internationally has been so excited about Big Whit, one of the all-time favorite Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati football history. Guys in the waiting room right now, guys, I am wore out with you guys asking a question about if Big Whit's coming back to Cincinnati. Well, we're about to find out what's going on right here, right now. Big Whit, welcome, big dog. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on? How we doing?
Oh, we got him.
Yeah, we got him.
Yep.
We got him, Jimmy.
Am I on
mute? Good? Nope.
Nope.
You're good. How you doing? We hear you just fine.
All right, we'll kick Jimmy off the screen. So, he's only names on the show. We'll kick off Big Whit. Welcome. Hopefully you're doing good out in California. We saw the videos of all the flooding that's going on. You and the family safe?
We're good, man. It's a lot of water. They're not used to that out here, that's for sure. I got a little experience with it in Louisiana, though. We're used to this, so we're all right.
All right. Well, Whit, hey, let's talk about it. The biggest question right now: is there any way in hell you come back to Cincinnati and for the playoff run here and get yourself another Super Bowl ring?
I don't see that. I don't foresee it happening, man. Look, I would love to. There's nothing more in the world that I'd love to do than suit it up again. That's for sure. But, I halfway thought about it about a week ago, and I went to get out of a chair, and I had to get my kids to help me. And I figured at that point, it pretty much summed up my chances of getting in a stance and blocking anybody in the AFC this coming week. So I'm gonna root from home. I am a Bengals guy all the way. I've been saying all year, I think it's going to be Niners, Bengals in the Super Bowl. And I hope they do it.
Yeah, that's great. So we're going to have everybody that's watching right now, we've got Whit for about 20 minutes. Any questions, type them in. James is going to kind of try to get to a few of those. A couple things we want to get to, Whit. Man, I know you probably haven't seen the show before, man. We've had some really big names on. And we scour the internet, scour social media, try to find videos you don't remember and things like that. I spent 7 hours today putting a clip together of all your touchdowns in the NFL. So let's play this video right now for everybody.
Let's go.
An offsides on Woodley kept his drive going, and now another penalty gives the Bengals great field position. Petro, lead blocker, instead the pass out here to the tackle eligible on Andrew Whitworth for the touchdown.
That was it. The only one.
A lot of fun things in that video. That was the opening drive of the game. That was also Ryan Clark, my LSU buddy and guy I looked up to. He was a senior when I was a freshman that's supposed to be over there covering me, so I don't ever let him live that down. And the other part of that was actually my birthday. And my twins, who are now 11, were expecting. My wife was expecting with them at that time, so she was at home and said she almost lost the kids because I did not tell her that I was actually supposed to go out on a pass that week, and so she about passed out when it happened. That's for sure.
Well, the other thing too, I'm glad you hit all that, man. Okay, not going to say the city. We call them the city near West Virginia. We never call it. We never say the P word or the S word. It's the city near West Virginia is what we call them. But it was the only offensive touchdown on both sides of the ball that day. You were the only one who scored an offensive touchdown that day.
We need to find out if that's a record. I've been wanting to know this for years. That an O lineman is the only offensive touchdown in a football game. I want to know. Like, that's a pretty rare feat.
Tom, that's got to be the only time it's ever freaking happened. I mean, that's my.
So.
It's the only time that I can ever remember happening for a Bengal. I know, Anthony scored a couple of the touchdowns on a tackle eligible, but it's the only time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, guys have scored, but to be the only score in the game, that'd be an interesting one. We'll see.
Yeah. So let's go through, just ask a few questions here. We'll get to our viewer questions. We'll let you go, Whit. But Tom, fire away. I know we have some great things for you, Whit. Go ahead, Tom.
Good.
Whit, I'm going to use, now that you're national media, unbiased and so forth, but help us out here in Cincinnati. The line, from a physical standpoint, has been great all week. All year. We had the first month or so, a lot of getting used to each other, but they've been healthy. Every week, all 5 of them, 100% of the snaps. This week we lose Alex Kappa. A couple of weeks ago, another LSU alum, Lyle Collins, we lose him. What does Joe Burrow? I mean, is Joe Burrow checking the right side a little bit more before every snap? What does he need, and what do they need to do as a line to get some cohesiveness to get ready for that Ravens front 6?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When you're talking about an offensive line, that all 5 guys working together is a huge thing. And so, the one good thing that you do like, about the situation is obviously it's not ideal. It's not what you want. But you can look at it 2 ways, and that is really for a defense. I've always said this, like the right tackle and the right guard have a lot to do with the quarterback's vision, because a lot of times most quarterbacks, how they set up in the pocket, they see those rushes more so than they do the left side. And that's why it's always been considered their blind side on the left side, because it's a lot harder for them to see it. And sometimes they see it, but they see it a little later than the right side even. And so, it's at least to the side that he can maneuver and move out of the pocket if he feels pressure, or maybe adjust where he is in the pocket. So that's an advantage, but it's going to be a challenge. I mean, it's a factor. And I've said this before, that is the only thing. Like, I am really confident in the Cincinnati Bengals, the guys there, and in the talent and the ability to win, from Zach Taylor to all the way down. And that is a question mark, though, because it's going to be something that matters. It can either affect him, or maybe it's a good thing that it happened right there in one location to where they can set protections, they can set how they slide. But teams are going to be going after that side of the line, and they're going to have an answer for how to deal with it.
Right. Tom, I think you had another one, bud.
Yeah, Whit, you are coming back to Cincinnati at some point. Your name's going to be up on that Ring of Honor, and you're coming back to Ohio. I believe your bus going to be in Canton one day. But one of the things we do here is we focused on Bengal players that belong in the Hall of Fame. We believe that guy whose jersey is hanging just over my shoulder, Ken Riley, we're really confident gets to go in this year. Ken Anderson, it's criminal he's not there.
Yep.
But the other guy that really bothers us is a former teammate of yours, kind of a mentor of yours. We know he means a lot to you. Willie Anderson belonged in Canton a long, long time ago. What can we do to convince and I'll be gentle, the gentlemen that vote to put him in where he belongs? The best right tackle, maybe the best lineman of his era. Why can't we get attention given to Willie?
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. I've talked to some media members, here recently about it. It's really unfortunate how good his career is, how dominant he was. And this isn't really a discredit to Joe, but I think it's interesting that Joe Thomas, who was a great football player and deserves to go to the Hall of Fame, he was an unbelievable talent. The narrative to me that's just crazy is that he's a guy that should just walk in and the door should be open his first year. And Willie Anderson, who, tell me what their careers were different. Like, Joe didn't go to the playoffs, but one time in his career, I believe, didn't have much success in Cleveland at all and win many games. Willie, the same situation, didn't have many playoff appearances. I think only one or maybe two. And literally, like, to think like the discrepancy. It's not that I'm saying one's better than the other or whatever, but the discrepancy of one of them's just a surefire walk in there and the other one's not is wild to me, because Willie, in pass protection, you could say Joe Thomas is an unbelievable just purist when it came to taking a pass set, but Willie was not only great against some of the all-time greats in NFL history and gave up very few sacks, but he dominated people in the run game and was a guy who just mauled folks. And so I think it's unfortunate for him. He played in an era with really good left tackles when right tackles weren't hardly ever talked about, and he did not get really the coverage he should have as a player. And so it's one of the things I hate the most about when we only use Pro Bowls and All Pros to dictate a lineman's success. Like, turn tape on and evaluate how they played each and every week. And Willie Anderson's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, we're with you. We're with you. Yeah, that's a great answer. We talk to Willie pretty consistently. Man, we love the guy. We're going to keep fighting for him. But Tony, I know you had something about his foundation, right?
Yeah, Big Wit. Us as a group and our fan base, we concentrate a lot on charity work. Talk a little bit about your Big Wit 77 and what you guys have been able to do.
Yeah, we started off probably early in my career doing a lot with our foundation, and now we do a little less with like our true foundation and more about how we can impact communities. And so I think for me, really, it's been one of those things that, when we only lived in Louisiana early in my career, we did a lot of stuff with our foundation in the off seasons. And then in Cincinnati, I would just try to join every charity I could and be a part of different things, whether it be Boys and Girls Clubs and Make-A-Wish and you name it, all the different hospitals and things you could be a part of. And then now in California, it's kind of the same thing. We're doing a lot of that. And so for me, really, when it comes to food insecurity, homeless insecurities, when it comes to schools and classrooms and creating opportunities for kids to chase their dreams, we continue to be heavily invested in that. And it's something we're always chasing, that passion. And we actually have coming up this week, I helped with my Walter Payton Man of the Year award. You get money that they'll put up to help you start something or do a charity work or donate. And so I used the money and got with some other groups, and we're building a field at the Challengers Boys and Girls Club here in Inglewood in LA. And so it's going to be an old beat up field that they needed to be refurbished, and we're going to build them a brand new facility, and we're showing it off on Thursday. And I can't wait for that event and just a chance to do something really cool for a community and show a little love.
I love it, man. So Wade, I tell you what, man, everybody got to see your Walter Payton Man of the Year speech. I was in studio at SoFi when you were giving that speech, man, and everybody got goosebumps. Brother, just tell us what it means to get that award. That's just one of the most special awards an NFL player can get.
It's very humbling. I mean, I was nominated a lot of times, and I'll never forget, honestly, just the honor to represent, those 32 teams and each guy that came from each one of them. I mean, it's really cool and special, this league, the opportunities that a lot of guys have. But when you really look across the men that play this game and the impact they have on their communities, not just on the kids that are growing up, but on, adults and making things better for people where they come from and even in the cities they play in. It's just so humbling to be a part of that, and to be a part of something bigger than yourself, to me, will be the greatest opportunity you ever have in your life. And so being a part of that group and getting a chance to represent, in my opinion, I won the award, but to me, I represent the other 31 guys and all the work that we did. And so I'm just honored to be in that group and now a part of all the guys who have won Walter Payton Man of the Year. And I can't wait to see the things that guys keep doing that make them so special that play in this league.
That's awesome. James, I know you had one too, bud.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this image up here, Big Wit. Thank you for joining us back from your college days. Obviously, we know the pipeline from LSU to North has gotten strong here, even in the last 5 years. There we see you wearing number 76. You had a well-known guy coach you down there in Baton Rouge by the name of Nick Saban. Can you elaborate on him spearheading you during your college days?
I mean, he's been one of the greatest influences in my career. I mean, I had a high school strength coach that I thought was a huge impact on my career. And then Nick Saban, probably from a philosophical and just a daily chasing of greatness and the process and everything else, made one of the biggest impacts on me. I mean, there were days that I, wanted to pull his toupee off his head or whatever he did with his hairline there. But it's he would drive you crazy, but he would challenge you every single day. I just think that he taught me a lot about the game and how it's played and what you do. And it's wild to go back and even look at that staff. I mean, Kirby Smart was also on that staff. I mean, to look at his success, and Will Muschamp and Jimbo Fisher and Derek Dooley. I mean, the list goes on, and that staff was insane. And so there's a lot of special guys on there, and I think that a lot of people from a lot of different from playing the game, coaching the game, and everything else. There was a number of names that have impacted the game of football, college, and NFL from there.
Talking about now the regular season, I got one more. The regular season is over. We're getting ready to start playoff football. We know how intense the NFL is. How much does that intensity ramp up now that the playoffs have started?
I think it's interesting. There's definitely an intensity ramp, and people make a lot about who's played in the playoffs and who hasn't and who has home field. And, I think the real thing comes down to, what team has the ability to ignore all the noise, regardless if you're the home team or away, in the sense of not the actual noise, but not literally noise, but the ability to ignore the bigness of the game, to ignore whether there's going to be a big fan crowd, interaction during the game, whether there's going to be moments in the game of adversity and moments where you don't think you're going to win. Just ignore all of that and play your best possible football for 60 minutes with everything you got, with no hesitation, relentless, never second guessing yourself, just play. And I think the teams that figure out a way to do that and just have a singular focus to be the best team, not the best team of the season, not the best team with the best record, not the team with home field advantage or division championships, the best team in that 3-hour window. That's all they have to do. And I think when you can just have a singular focus to do that, that's the teams you see play their best.
Right.
Jamie, I think you had one.
Yeah, well, thanks for your time. Last year, Super Bowl, Bengals losing, heartbreak for the Bengals fans. I know watching you on the field with your kids after, and I think a lot of Bengals fans, we couldn't win it, but happy to see you win it. And I wondered, watching you on TV with your kids in the field, and I hope I asked this the right way. I don't want to misword it, but is there almost like I want to say sadness, but like you feel about the Bengals? Like, what a Bengals win would do for this franchise, for the city, for the fan bases. Is there an emotion there for that, or is it just euphoria from you winning it, and then it kind of you think about it after? I'm curious about that.
I think that whole 2 weeks was really a lot of that. I mean, it was an emotional 2 weeks for Melissa and I, because the city meant so much to us, the organization. I always told people, I felt like I was going to be not happy, but I would be content either way. And because I felt like I had a lot to do with who Cincinnati is, and even though I wasn't on that team recently, and then I felt like I had so much pride of really our time in Cincinnati and how special that was to our family and all 4 of our kids, we had while we were there and were born. And so, it's a special place to us. It's where I created our family, and our family will always consider Cincinnati one of our homes. And so it was an emotional week. And I think that's one of the reasons that right after we won the game and you had that chance to sit for a second and watch the confetti fall, it was like, man, I just want to sit down with the kids and just spend a moment being thankful, because I was so thankful for my time in Cincinnati and for the Rams. And I think I told Troy Blackburn and Katie and Mike that story when I came in the preseason, and I told them, man, I felt like I would, I felt like I would be emotional about it one way or another. And I'm pretty sure he replied, hey, look, we would have invited you back up there on the stage, in a joking manner. Basically saying like, hey, we weren't going to be that emotional about you if we won. But I was trying to convey exactly what you're saying. It just didn't come out as good as I wanted it to. And he had a great reply. So it was, we had a funny moment about that. But I think that's the thing. It's such a special place and special time there. And I'll always be, part of Cincinnati Bengal for sure.
We're happy you got one.
I appreciate it.
Although it was difficult for me with being there, I wanted to get the hell out of that damn stadium after that game. So.
I bet. Well, hey, look at the positive side. At least you weren't the TCU fans leaving soaking wet last night. Those people, so bad for them.
That was ugly. Jamie, let's go to some viewer questions. We got a couple more minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah. You good, man.
Okay.
All right. One of our regular viewers watching us from day one, Greg Witt, who's your favorite teammate from your time in Cincinnati?
Oh,
Oh man,
So
trying to
you're
make
gonna
me
get in
lose.
trouble with this.
You're trying to make
Don't
me.
worry, we won't tweet at them. We're all good. We won't tell anybody.
No,
I got
I had a lot of great ones. I mean, obviously, me and Eric Winston and Clint Bowling formed a really special relationship in our time together. Clint was a guy that, Eric I'd known most of my career, and in college we got a chance to be around each other at some award stuff, and just always were friends. And then it was cool to get a chance to be teammates in my career. And Clint, from him getting drafted to really the start of our run there, in 2011, with Andy and AJ and all those guys. I had some really special relationships there. And then when I got there in Cincinnati, Ethan Kilmer and John Beeson and some of those guys, I mean, were my rookie brothers that we all came in together. And, I just think that, throughout my career and time there's so many special relationships. I mean, I can remember, AJ Green and Gio Bernard and those guys as they were babies, like just growing up in the league, and how much I got a chance to kind of be there for them and be a big brother. And I think there's just a lot of bonds I'll never forget. I think it's hard to peg one guy because I really do believe I gained a ton of brothers in that time from 06 all the way through 16. So there's a lot of special relationships that'll always be part of my life all throughout that locker room and team. And it's even hard to just name them because they're all so special. I mean, Adam Jones, Carlos and Gino and those guys, and early in my career, Frosty and Domata, and just a lot of guys you competed with, you went to war with, and then obviously the impact of Willie Anderson and Levi Jones and Richie Bram and Steinbach and all those guys. I mean, and my big brother Carson Palmer, man. I mean, I told people just the other day, Carson Palmer's where I learned leadership, and I learned how to be a leader of people. And he was so great in the locker room and so good with guys. So there's just so many of those relationships that I'll never forget.
A lot of the old school guys that bring on the Bengals legends. We always hear that there's a group text chat between these guys. Is there a Bengals OG group chat going on your phone?
I'll be honest with you. When I won the Super Bowl, I think I'm off the OG chat. But no, I still talk to Willie and Levi and some of the guys, especially the guys up front. And then TJ and Chad and some of us always keep up. And, even T.O. from his 1 year. I mean, there's just different guys you keep up throughout your career. There's always those things because those bonds, man, they're real. And that's what when you're in your career and people always ask what you want people to remember you by. And I think it's so funny when people talk about the field, because to me, I would hope you'd want your teammates to remember you as just a real dude and somebody that it wasn't just talk. It wasn't rah. You were a real teammate. You were a real G, and you went to war with guys. And you loved guys. You were there for them in the times of goodness and the time when things weren't as good. And so I think to me, those relationships will always be important, and that connection will always stay there.
Cool. I got two more viewer questions for you if you're cool with that. Okay.
Oh, you're great.
Going back, put your analyst hat back on for a second here. You've had some great battles with Trey Hendrickson. What makes this guy so good?
Man, he's a special player. I can remember even in New Orleans when he was first starting off, and we'd play him some in the playoffs and then had some big battles with him in the regular season. Always thought, man, he just had a really good knack for his motor and his ability to just kind of feel how to rush. I mean, I say this all the time about rushers. It's no different than receivers who know how to separate. Basketball players who know how to create separation with a basketball. Rushers usually have it or they don't. And to him, he has a natural ability, much like a wrestler or a fighter, to just feel, where there's places or creases and openings for him to slip in and use his leverage and his power and his energy. And he's always creating, like an artist. And so he's always finding new ways to win. And I thought when I studied him, in New Orleans, I'll be honest, I didn't think of him as like, man, okay, this guy's tough. It's just more of a guy you thought, man, the motor and how tough and strong he was, you had to be ready for him. In Cincinnati, I thought he's added so many elements to his game. He's got inside rushes, pull rushes, abilities to go around you with his cross chops and different things. And so you can really tell he's setting you up all throughout the day, and I think that to me, that's what makes him really special is you can tell he really, it's a passion of his to rush the quarterback, and he's got a great feel for it. And so to me, that's what makes him so rare, and his motor is really what separates him, is that not only can he do all those things, but he can do it over and over and over again with an elite effort level. And not a shocker, a lot of really good football players are able to do that.
Cool. Yeah. I'll do one more. We appreciate your time, obviously. Other than Jeff Ruby's, what do you miss most about Cincinnati?
I think just the people. When I got a chance to come back this preseason, and then when we did the Dolphins Bengals game, I'll never forget just walking around and whether it be going to different restaurants that I love there, or going to different places that are like we loved and had great times, with our kids and our family, and going on date nights and hanging out with teammates. Just the true passion for the game of football, man. It's interesting. You go some places and it's more about the star you are, or the fandom of like somebody being special and wanting a picture or whatever. But I always felt like when I was in Cincinnati, it was more of a respect and just man, we love football and we appreciate you. And you walked in a restaurant and people would just nod at you, wave at you, you hug them, you give them a handshake, whatever it is, and they'd let you be, because they just they wanted you to be a part of the community and a part of them, not necessarily just gawk at you, and I think that always made you feel so welcomed and warmed when you're there, because you felt like you were a part of the city. You weren't just a superstar to them that played there. You were invested in the city, and they're invested in you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, let's go ahead. We'll close it out here, Whit. So just one closing thing from us, man. Just talk about your feelings, if you're able to, the Bengals versus the Ratbirds, the Ravens this week, man. Talk about your thoughts and how do you think we come out ahead? What has to happen for us to win this game?
Well, I think it's going to be a big factor to see how, you adjust in the offensive line and are able to kind of adjust things. I think running the football one is going to be important out of the gun, getting some gun runs and getting guys not in so many situations where you're going to have two guys playing beside each other that don't have a chance to get a lot of chemistry and they don't have a lot of time. So they're going to need positive downs and distances, and then they're going to have moments where they're just going to have to step up. And that's what the game of football is. I mean, the reality is in the game of football, man, it's who steps up in the big moments. And so I think when you look at Joe Burrow and you look at the special guys you have on that roster, I just have a lot of faith and belief that you got a lot of people that are wired the right way and are going to be they're going to be at their best in the biggest moments. And I think that's going to be key. And obviously, if Lamar's back or not defensively, being able to have an answer for him and how healthy is he? That'll be a question, to really what they'll be able to do. And I like the fact that I really think that in these situations, I mean, unfortunately, we were on the other end in 2009 of playing the Jets back to back, and I remember thinking like, there's no way they'd beat us in back to back games. Sure enough, they did, and so I just think when you have somebody's number, man, it's in their head and they know it, and so I think that for the Ravens, man, I think the Bengals have a chance to take them down and keep moving on and chasing, what they're after.
And I'll tell you, with my oldest son's 31, lives out in Portland now. He flies in for some of the games here and there. He was an intern at the stadium and worked some of the suites during game days, and he was responsible for your family suite, making sure they had what they needed, the whole 9 yards. And every time he would come home and just talk about Melissa, your family that was there, and how nice they were to him, how respectful, and that means a lot, man, to me as a father and my son talking about that. So I want to say thank you for that. This city loves you, Whit, and I just can't put my finger on it, man. You're not the guy scoring all those touchdowns. You're not the guy throwing all those touchdowns. But this city loves players like you, brother. And as great as a football player you were, and going to be in the Hall of Fame and the Bengals Ring of Honor, even a better human being. And brother, and I think that's why this city is just head over heels for you and loves you. And they cannot wait for you to come back in town when you get inducted to that Ring of Honor, buddy.
Hey, I appreciate that so much, man. I love that city too, and I appreciate all you guys and the energy you build around the team, man. Let's go.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Hey, wait a minute. Your birthday's in a couple days, right?
No. It's
December.
Yeah, 12th.
December. Oh, December 12th. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. You forgot the touchdown catch.
When he scored his touchdown, yeah.
I think it was like the oldest player to ever get a Super Bowl ring, offensive line. I didn't know if he was on Medicare yet or not, man. You're getting so damn old.
Close, trust me.
Thanks for your time, Andrew. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ed. See you, buddy.
Yep.
Guys, Andrew freaking Whitworth on our show. How cool is that? That was awesome.
I would have never asked him if he was on Medicare face to face. I could do that here.
Dude, I was trying. My question about the was there any feelings about the Bengals? Like, I was trying to figure out a way to ask that without sounding like, like, hey, you screwed us out of the Super Bowl. Like, obviously, it wasn't meaning it that way, but
You did just fine.
I'm glad the words came out.
You did.
You did
He didn't screw us out of a Super Bowl. That ref that called the phantom pass interference call screwed us out of a Super
By
Bowl.
the way, I don't know, Jimmy. I don't know if you saw my notes, but I have a new video tonight for the 2-minute warning. When you're ready to do it, you just tell me to do it.
It's 2-minute warning. Let's go.
All right, you ready? Here we go. This one's it's just uploading right now. I'm just dedicating this one to my boy Tom down there. You ready?
EA Sports. It's in the game.
There we go.
In the game.
Oh, gosh.
Go back a few episodes, guys. You'll get the joke.
50 episodes later. Oh, well, I'll start off because Mon just sent a message there. Congratulations, Mon, on the fantasy football championship. Our boy Jared Wolf was second. I think Jamie, were you dead last? We had that text going this morning. Was it?
No, I was second last. And
Tony,
I will say,
is
it Tony that was dead last? I'm not going to lie to you guys, and this might get me kicked out of the league next year. I haven't set my lineup for the last 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks. So the fact that I even finished second last is shocking to me. And I really hope Tony didn't set his lineup for the same amount of time.
Well,
No,
like
he did.
The text string, I found a pattern. So when I was actually paying attention and changing my lineup, the Bengals were losing. But as soon as I didn't pay attention, guess what? They were winning. So I decided I took one from the team, and I was just going to not play fantasy and let our Bengals keep on winning. That's exactly what happened. So
smart.
There you go.
That's good strategy.
All
so
right,
I definitely finished last then. Yeah.
Yep, there you go. Congrats, Jamie. So the run starts through January, Sunday. As we talked a little bit earlier, that Monday night atmosphere was electric. Paycor was rocking. Let's do it again Sunday night. Let's bring the energy. Start the playoffs off on the right foot. As Whit said, let's get the running game going early. Open it up for number 9, and we'll advance and move on. We're hot right now. What is it? 8 in a row, 7 in a row, whatever it is after the cancellation. And excited for another deep run in the playoffs. And again, let's bring the energy to Paycor Sunday night. Jamie?
Go to Tony.
Yeah, I'll take it. So let's make sure we tame these rat birds. I think we come out with a win. It's going to be a good fight. Our tailgate, let's not forget our charity that we've been doing. You guys have rocked it already this year with 113,000. We're still sticking with our first responders. That charity is pretty special. Let's take care of those that take care of us. That's kind of the theme for this, and I hope to see you guys out there and Who Day.
Tom?
Like I said, protect Joe Burrow, win the turnover battle, guard Mark Andrews, and stay healthy. For us as fans, that place has got to be the loudest it has ever been. It has to make last year's game against the Raiders seem like a library. So, the fans, as fans, we have got to bring it for 60 minutes to help these guys out. But I think it's going to be a tough one, but I think it's going to be another victory. And we'll live to fight another day. And in honor of Roger Goodell, I'm going to flip it up to our buddy up north.
Listen, guys, this is why I went to Tony. Tom and I you spent 7 hours on that touchdown video for Whit. We spend a week coming up with these. I hope you guys appreciate this. And this is the first time.
Night for a half hour.
1 minute ago.
Hold on. We're going big screen so we can see the moose's ass again.
Okay, I will say, this is also, take it off. I got my wine teeth. Take it off. Okay.
Wine teeth.
I got wine teeth. I've drinking that wine the whole time.
Wait. Hey, Jamie, can you show us how much wine's left in the bottle?
There ain't any. 50.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Yeah. In his defense, it has been a 94-minute show.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know how inflation is down there for you guys, but he literally flipped me a quarter, and it came up, and it's worth 30 cents. Or 13 cents. That's crazy.
Oh gosh.
No, I still have to do my time. No, let's go out Sunday. I think we're going to win this game. I'm not scared of Lamar Jackson. I'm not scared of Justin Herbert. I'm not scared of Patrick Mahomes. Bengals going to the Super Bowl. And that means we're going to be on there for the next few weeks, guys. We're going to keep this show going all the way to the end. And I'm going to be partying with you guys in Arizona for the Super Bowl. Who day?
Am I up? I can't remember where
You're
we
up. You
All right.
are up.
Guys, I just want to say thanks for hanging on. And Whit was awesome. It was worth the wait. I appreciate everybody viewing in, tuning in. Guys, I'm just going to tell you, I don't care if you come to a tailgate or not, everybody that's in that stadium, as loud as it was Monday night for that Bills game, which is the loudest stadium I've ever been in, 29 different NFL cities, Cincinnati was the loudest stadium that Monday night I've ever been in. We need that energy. We need that energy to help our guys on the field. So whatever we got to do, I think the Bengals are going to pull this damn thing out. But guys, I'm going to tell you what, this is going to be tough. But whatever we can do in the fans to help them, let's bring it. Let's bring that energy. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you at the tailgate. And we'll see you Sunday, guys. Hoo day. Thanks for tuning in.
Hoo day.
Hoo day.